SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
Several heads of state are expected to jet into Bloemfontein today, and South Africa's coal exports have increased. With the news at 7 o'clock, good morning, I'm Karabo Malati. Several heads of state and international guests are expected to jet into Bloemfontein today on the eve of the ANC centenary celebrations tomorrow. Senior political journalist Thulasizwe Simelane reports on the activities lined up for today.
As the countdown board outside the ANC's provincial headquarters here in Bloemfontein is changed to 1 day to go, many of today's activities will center around President Jacob Zuma, his deputy Kgalema Motlanthe, and other members of the party's National Executive Committee. An intercultural festival, poetry performances, and popular musicians and DJs are billed to thrill. President Zuma will receive a gift of 50 cattle from the Abatembu clan before welcoming his fellow heads of state in a banquet later this evening, culminating in the lighting of the centenary flame at midnight. Thulasizwe Simelane, SABC News, Bloemfontein.
The Bloemfontein airport is meanwhile handling a large number of flights as thousands of visitors, including guests from overseas, stream into the Free State capital for the centenary celebrations. Bloemfontein airport manager Johan Skolt says no major hiccups have been experienced. No planes will be allowed to park at Bloemfontein airport this weekend, but will have to depart for Upington airport after passengers have disembarked. The aircraft will then return to Bloemfontein to pick up passengers at the conclusion of the centenary. Thousands of ANC supporters will take trains this morning to travel to Bloemfontein for tomorrow's centenary celebrations. In Cape Town, scores of card-carrying members will be departing for the Free State capital. The party's Western Cape leader, Marius Fransman, is leading the group. Serveral reports.
Of Western Cape ANC branches will take part in the Mangaung celebrations. The party says many have already departed for the City of Roses, but the remainder will leave by rail this morning to join about 100,000 people in the Free State capital, where the ANC was founded. Fransman says the organization will continue to break down the legacy of apartheid, artificial borders, inequality, and the many contradictions that divide South Africans. He says they will also work hard to ensure the effective delivery of services in poor communities. Serveral, SABC, Cape Town.
The ANC Secretary-General, Gwede Mantashe, has challenged various religious groups to reclaim their place within the ANC. Mantashe was speaking during a night vigil held on the premises of the Wesleyan Church at Vaihoek in Bloemfontein. The night vigil was attended by various church denominations and traditional leaders. He says traditional leaders should not, on the other hand, be fighting over rightful terrain, but should assist the ANC-led government to accelerate service delivery to the nation.
We are appealing to religious leaders to come close to the ANC, provide leadership and spiritual leadership to the ANC. The same would apply to the chiefs and kings. You can't talk of the 100 years of the ANC without going to the history of the wars of dispossession and the wars of resistance. So chiefs and kings played a very important role.
The lighting of the torch at the ANC centenary celebrations will be shown live on SABC2 between 11 o'clock tonight and midnight. Still in local news, South Africa's coal export for last year rose by 2% to 65 million tons from the previous year. China took just over 13 million tons from South Africa last year, most of it in the fourth quarter, as Chinese utilities filled stockpiles to capacity before the New Year holidays. Although India remains the biggest single market for South African coal, accounting for 16 million tons in 2011, China has risen rapidly to the number 2 spot. And finally, further afield, police in northern Nigeria say at least 14 people have been killed by gunmen in drive-by shootings. In recent weeks, Islamist group Boko Haram has repeatedly targeted Christians. The BBC's Mark Lobel reports from Lagos.
While they were mourning a loved one and deciding what to do with the corpse, relatives and friends of a person shot on Thursday were also gunned down. Both attacks bore the hallmarks of the militant Islamist group Boko Haram, as killers on motorbikes conducted the drive-by Kalashnikov shootings that have become synonymous with a reign of terror now sweeping the north. The attackers chanted Muslim slogans, according to one eyewitness who hid under a table. The gunmen had stormed a meeting of Christians from a southern ethnic group in a town hall in rural northeast Nigeria.